Good day, Minecraftians. PurpleMentat here, bringing you episode 2 of my Purple Garden playthrough. Last time we got ourselves a little mob trap built, we grew some trees, started some potatoes growing. Today it's time to take care of that mob issue below the platform. Last time we broke the cobblestone that was below the water. Now we're going to ride that water down. And we're going to put down some torches down here so that things can no longer spawn. And actually, one there almost covers that side of the platform. Instead, let's try one here and one here. Does that get everything, or does that miss a few? Seems that that misses a few, but we can sort that out by clearing out some stone. Yay, reclaiming cobblestone. Yeah, I hate flowing water with a burning passion. Here, let's stop that. That's better. And now we can easily water ladder up and down for the time being, until we want to make use of this space down here for something a little more complicated than just a staging area of sorts. And hey, those two torches are now covering the entire area and stopping all monsters from spawning. Fantastic. That bedrock will always be there. I will have to do something about that at some point, but it'll probably just be... Oh yeah, that's right. I wanted the cobblestone to stay on those. But I can reclaim the one that is not directly under the dirt. There we go. Efficiency. Yeah. Last thing to do. Check our potatoes. Nope, no growth. Okay, so next we're going to spend some time farming monsters, farming trees, and farming potatoes. Once we have some resources to work with, seeds in specific, then we'll be able to progress. Ooh, there's more than one skeleton in here. Fantastic. Ooh, I see bones. Yay. Alright, we'll be back over there when we can turn that bone into bone meal and spread it around the grass. Alright, now that we have 7 bones to work with, our options expand enormously. We can turn all of these into bone meal. That'll give us 21 bone meal. We can use them in Botanical Brewery, we can make fell pumpkins. All of that comes later though. First off is the bone meal. And we're going to make use of said bone meal primarily to make grass to get seeds. See, there we go. We already have some wheat seeds. And there's some more. Fantastic. This is probably one of your most efficient uses of bone meal early on, is creating grass and using that to get seeds. There are, I believe, 4 kinds of seeds that you can get from long grass in this pack. You can get wheat, you can get flax, as I just pulled. Oh, nope, I got melon seeds. That's fantastic. That's really, truly awesome. And in fact, that is so good, we're going to come over here and we're going to immediately plant those and bone meal them. Melons are potentially one of the best seed producers I have available to me. So we're going to use our bone meal to make those instantly mature. And now they will grow and create a melon on any nearby solid block. Either any one of those 4. Every time there's a growth tick on the stem that happens naturally, we could get a melon. And melons can, when you break them, drop melon slices, which can be ate directly or turned into more seeds. Seeds, seeds, seeds. Everything's about seeds at this stage of the game. You know what? Look more. Give me more charcoal. And then, so I'm going to spend some more time breaking grass, getting seeds. Maybe I'll spend some bone meal on the potatoes so I can eat something that's not rotten flesh. I mean, they're already almost grown though, so I feel like I should just be patient and wait. I can do patient, right? That's the whole point of this pack, is patience. There we go. And once we're ready to actually do something real with the various seeds and plants that we get, we shall return. Alrighty, we now have plenty of seeds to work with, and even more awesome, we got 2, not flax. I thought I had 2 pumpkin, oh yeah. 2 pumpkin seeds and 2 melon seeds out of the tilling that we were doing. So we're going to go ahead and put some pumpkin there. And we're going to dig up some of this grass, because at this point, it's no longer as useful in the locations that it is currently as it used to be. And to speed that up, we can make a stone shovel, because at this point, stone and wood are effectively infinite for us. Now, the pumpkin and... I do not remember exactly if pumpkin needs dirt or grass specifically to grow on. I'm going to double check that. I'll be right back. Alright, after double checking things, the adjoining block has to be grass, dirt, or farmland. As such, we're going to make sure that the adjoining blocks for our pumpkin and melon are grass, dirt, or farmland. And that does leave us with limited options for other farming, but that's okay because the pumpkins and the melons are really going to be our workhorse. Ooh, nice. Our workhorses as far as our long-term farming and seed supply is concerned. You know what? There's probably a way to put these closer together in there. Yeah, there is. So, what can I do? How can I move these? I can't move the water block yet. That's the limiting factor here. So we'll go ahead and just use up the extra space. I'm not too worried about space. I can make as much of it as I want. It's not a concern. But I am worried about making sure that the pumpkin and melon can grow as efficiently as possible once it exists. So we're going to make sure that we give each and every one of them its own torch, so that I guarantee the light level will be high enough. This will be replaced with a pumpkin once those potatoes finish growing. And the rest of this area we're going to fill back in with cobblestone. I might need to make some more cobblestone to make that happen, but that's okay. Cobblestone is infinite. I could use slabs in its place, but I believe that that is more computationally heavy on your graphics card because it's 2 entities instead of 1. I'm not 100% certain on that. I don't know the code very well, but I do know that Minecraft is very, very inefficient and very, very poorly optimized. And as such, I'm going to do my best to avoid as many inefficiencies as possible. Now, on this, you know what we can do? We can put torch there. Yeah, that'll work. On this side, what we're going to do is we're going to make a few strips of farmland. And I have 10 dirt. That'll do for now. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you know what? We can do one more right there. We'll put down some dirt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. From what I have read on the wiki, when you plant wheat, you want them to be in rows like this. Apparently, you get the fastest growth if they are in rows with nothing next to them. I'm going to double check that between now and the next segment, but that is what I hear. And I'm going to plant a bunch of potatoes because I believe that those are going to be the staple food source for myself. I like potatoes. Baked potato is a great way to meet your Minecraft food issues. Now, I've got 19 spare seeds, as well as a couple of flax seeds. I'm not going to use the flax at the moment. We will work with that once we actually have extra dirt to use. Oh, and you know what? I forgot to use the living roots. And I haven't left myself a whole lot of grass or dirt to work with for making more flowers, but that's okay. I think I'll be alright for the time being. What we're going to do now... actually, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to create more cobblestone because I need more cobblestone to be able to progress. Back soon. And now we see the upside of living in a snow biome. Easy access to snowballs, which we're going to be able to use to make snow, and also can be used with Pam's Harvest Craft to make ice cream, which is a fantastic food source. And, oh, you can double snowballs with mana infusion. The Vial of Cloaking can be very useful. And I believe that snow, well, it allows for frosty brick, as well as the Rune of Winter, which is really nice to be able to get so much easier than most people will be able to. If you don't live in a snow biome, you have to go through some other means of getting your hands on snowballs. So I'm going to spend some time digging up snow anytime that it falls on a block that I can get at. Which are potatoes. Potato. Potato. Oh, whoa. So why did I want more cobblestone? I'm in a silly mood today, by the way. Apologies. I wanted to be able to cook some of that into smooth stone. But we're going to start off with a couple of potato, because I want real food. I'm sick of eating rotten meat. Come on, come on, come on. Boom. Baked potato. Yeah. 3 shanks of hunger and 3.5 shanks of saturation. This is going to do a good job of keeping me quite well fed for quite some time. And then we get our cobblestone in there, and this will turn into smooth stone for us. We're going to be using the smooth stone with the mystical white petals. 4 petals into the petal apothecary with 1 seed. With 1... Oh, right click with the seed. No? Am I just failing that badly? What's going on? Oh, I only had 3 in there. There we go. 4 in there with 1 seed. Becomes a pure daisy and empties the petal apothecary. So, and you just use your bowl of water, fill it back up, do it again. 2 pure daisies. Fantastic. Unfortunately, these also need to live on grass. So, you're going to be wanting to get your hands on some proper dirt generation as fast as possible in this pack. This is me now running into some issues that I did not anticipate before. I have an overabundance of seeds and not nearly enough grass to make good use of them all. Now, your pure daisy is going to be useful for 2 things. Pure daisies can transmute any logs into living wood logs. Just set them down near the pure daisy, and you can see that they start sparkling with some particle effects. If you can see it through the snow, there's some sparkles coming off of them. Pure daisies can also be used, which we can make use of the tree spots for these actually quite well. That's fantastic. You're going to be able to put down your stone around them, as long as it is smooth stone specifically, to transmute that into... I forget what it's called, actually. But we'll have some in just a moment to work with. So yeah, I think that getting your pure daisies on top of your sapling spots is going to be the way to go. Swap them out when you need to make more. Otherwise, just wait. Yay, more snow. Give this just a moment to finish cooking. Come on. It takes a little while. Oh, hey, we have our first melon. Fantastic. I believe it's swords that break melons faster, but melons can be used directly to make seeds, or you can turn them into melon blocks, make glistering melons, lots of options to use your melons with. We'll be making good use of them over time. There we go. Living wood being created. We'll be back when these finish transmuting. There we go. I harvested 1 set and made another. It is definitely living rock and living wood that you get from these pure daisies? Yes, pure daisies. You need smooth stone to make the living rock and any log to make the living wood. And we're going to tear down this other one and start growing trees again. I put all of my trees away because I had 23 saplings. But then I realized, you know what? I don't have any actual trees growing at the moment. I should really probably get some more logs. However, now that we have so many saplings, we can fairly safely grow them a little bit closer together. So we're going to go ahead and do that. These grown at all? Yeah, slightly. I don't want to cut them down then. So we're going to go ahead and let those 3 grow. And if I can get some more bone meal over there, we'll make use of it. For now, we are going to use our living rock to make a couple of mana pools. And along with these mana pools, well, we can get 1 of them down. And then we can start working on something to produce some mana for the mana pool. And the very first something went terribly wrong here. Why did you spread out again like that? Strange. I'll have to fix that. Oh well, we'll get to that. Where was I? Right. The very first producer that you're going to have easy access to is going to be the Daybloom. Dayblooms are made with some mystical yellow petals, mystical orange petal, and a mystical light blue petal. So, that was 2 yellow, I believe? Yes. There's 2 yellow, an orange, and a light blue. And in fact, if I use another yellow, I can go ahead and make 2 Dayblooms all at once. Again, you're going to need your seeds for this. So that was, oops. First off, you need to make sure that you have water in your apothecary. So let's grab some water. And there's 2, 1, 1, bam. Achievement get Daybreak Arrival. Make the other one. Now there is an alternative to the Daybloom that you can also use. And you might want to, because while the Daybloom does a good job of generating during the day, it only works during the day. Also, you're going to want to make sure that you space these out slightly. Oh yeah, we're going to need one more thing to be able to make this work. You know what, potatoes? I like you, but I need the dirt. So let me get the materials together to make the next steps. The device that we're going to need to make best use of the Dayblooms, and I double checked and the Dayblooms have changed since the last time I used them, because now they are not very resistant, and after some time they'll wither and die. They also don't produce much to begin with, so perhaps hastily upgrading to Endoflames or others might be a good idea. We will definitely do so. You want your Dayblooms spread out a bit as it shows you in the Lexica, and anytime you need more information on something, make sure you check the Lexica Botania to get all the details. You can easily do so actually by shift and right-click on the item in question. It'll even pull up the Minecraft wiki for items that are not covered in the lexicon. And it'll pull up the lexicon article in question automatically. It's great. So, let's see. What do I need now? Well, I've got an extra cyan petal hanging around, so that'll do just nicely. And maximum number of flowers is either in magenta or blue. We'll use the, I don't know. We'll use the cyan. Sure. So, 2 things that I need to make. One of them is the mana spreader, which we're going to make with a cyan petal. And 7 living wood. This is a special recipe that is used for the Garden of Glass add-on. If I go to, I think I'll be able to go to, is it in basics? No, actually it is not. Interesting. Flower pouch, that's a good thing to make if you're harvesting lots and lots of flowers. Might be in there we go, mana manipulation. The spreader, let's see if it shows the regular recipe. Nope, okay. I don't know if that's all the time. I know that Garden of Glass said it had an alternate recipe for mana spreaders. I just am not certain what it is. Might require glass or something like that. Anyway, moving on. Let's get our spreader down. Right there. At the moment, it's already pointing at this mana pool, so that's fine. We can just go with it as is. We are not going to need anything else to make it work. If I put this down, it'll automatically connect with that spreader because it is within range, and the spreader will slowly fill up. You can see that these are working because they've got particle effects coming off of them. If you want to be able to monitor this, though, you're going to want to make the living wood wand, or the wand of the forest, that's what it's called. You're going to need 3 living wood twigs, which are made from 2 living wood each, as well as 2 petals of any color, and the one that comes out will have the colors of those petals. If I mouse over this mana spreader and give it a right click, it'll tell me what's going on. Same with the diluted mana pool. Same with the Dayblooms. Huh. I don't know why you weren't bound to, why you didn't automatically bind to that. Right click. Huh. Right click you to you. Accepting mana from items. I don't understand what's going on here. This should be working. Right-click you. You. Okay. They didn't bind to the mana spreader. The Living Wood Wand has, or the Wand of the Forest has two modes. Either bind mode, or if you right-click on nothing, function mode. You're going to want it in bind mode to be able to change the mana spreader to point at the mana pool, and to shift right-click the Dayblooms, and then shift right-click the mana spreaders to bind them together. Now, you can see that it's becoming night. Dayblooms don't produce at night, but they will feed whatever's left of their power to the spreader before they shut down entirely. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to fill up our Petal Apothecary again, get some black petals, some purple petals, and some gray petals, as well as our seeds, and create another flower that will work at night. 2, 1, 2, 1. There you have it. The Nightshade. We're going to go ahead and put those where these saplings are. Because honestly, I don't need much more right now. And when I put this down, good. It automatically bound to the spreader. Fantastic. Alright, now that these Dayblooms are emptied out, you're going to want to pick them up. Because you don't want to leave them in the world withering overnight. I don't know if that actually makes 100% of a difference. I have not researched and tested this myself, but to me, logic says don't have them in the world if they're not producing anything, because you only get a limited amount of usage out of them. There we go. And even this diluted mana pool is having trouble filling up from just these few flowers. However, we're still going to want to replace these flowers as quickly as possible with the Endo Flame, which will be a much better producer for us. To make the Endo Flame, we're going to need Mystical Brown, Mystical Red, Red Mana, Brown Mana, and Mystical Light Gray. Let's go ahead and start getting together some of what we need for that. So we're going to need... That was 2 red and 2 brown, 1 of each, right? Yep, and then 1 light gray. So there's our brown. We actually have 2 brown and 2 red flowers that we can use. So we're going to do that. So that gives us a light gray, the 4 brown, and the 4 red that we're going to need. And now we just need to wait for the mana pool to fill up a bit. Because when you, as you can see, if I'm out... Oh, there we go. Oh, not quite enough in there yet, but there will be soon. You can see when I'm mousing over the mana pool with my petals that they have a transmutation effect on them, and an X telling you there's not quite enough mana in there yet. These Nightshades and Dayblooms that I have should be just fine for now. Anyway, we are going to give this some time to fill up, and when it has enough mana for us, we will return. Alright, we've got a fair bit of mana in our mana pool now, but if I take a look with my petal, well, it's still showing an X. There's enough mana there, but it can't quite do it. Why? Well, because, as you can see, if I toss a diluted mana pool into my diluted mana pool, it turns into a mana pool, the proper one. Let's see if I have enough to do another one. I know I'm going to need a number of mana pools over time. Oh, nice. There we go. And now we've emptied it out. Now if I pick you up, and these two, since they are done for the day, we'll get you down, and we can put our Dayblooms back into action, and get some of the mana that we actually need flowing. That'll be better. Bind you to... make sure... Yep, you're in bind mode. You to you, and you to you. I don't know why the Dayblooms aren't automatically binding. It might be because they were not fresh when I put them down. The most likely reason. While you're waiting for some initial mana to generate, you're probably going to want to pick up the living rock that you have put down and keep generating more. You're going to need this over time. And eventually you're going to want to have quite a lot of it available to you. Let's see, is there enough now? No. Alright, let it continue. What I'm doing at the moment is I am reserving 5 seeds and for the wheat, because I'll be able to make plenty more later. And I'm going to subsist primarily on melons and on pumpkins. And the reason that the melons and pumpkins, to me, are worth this much area, because I already have 16 melon slices, and on their own, they're not very good. but you can use melon slices in Pam's Harvest Craft with snowballs and a juicer to create something that gives 2.5 shanks of food and 6 shanks of saturation. Or you can just make melon juice if you don't have easy access to snowballs to increase these to 1.5 shanks instead of 1 shank. To get your juicer, you're going to need to put down 2 stone to make a pressure plate, and 1 stone on top of the pressure plate gets you your juicer. And now we are in Smoothieville. Because you are unlikely to make yourself a bed very early, you should get frequent snow. So if you live in a place that has snow available, melon smoothies are going to be a very efficient food source early on. Very much worth getting into smoothie making. Alright, I think that was another pulse. How are we doing? Yep. All you need to do to transmute a mystical red petal into a red mana petal, toss it into the mana pool. We're going to need to wait for another pulse before we can do the brown petal, and then we'll be able to make the much more potent Endo Flame. At some point or another, you're likely to have a witch spawn inside of your monster spawner. These things happen. You're going to want to craft yourself a bow from 3 sticks and 3 string, and use some of the arrows that you've had dropping to take out said witch. And just to make certain, yeah, we're in an ice mountains biome here. Has nothing to do with being in a swamp or anything like that. The problem with the witches is they take, when they get knocked back, they don't necessarily come running back at you very quickly. Sometimes they stop and heal instead. And the bow can be useful for other things as well, in case you maybe don't want to go chasing the monster halfway across the area. 2 damage, no damage. I'm out of options other than the bow for killing things at the moment. Which actually, that's going to be a big issue as well, because I don't have anything to... Well, I've got a couple of slabs here. So I can just punch through the slabs. Because why not? Punch, 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 punch. There we are then. Bam. Right, and I'm also going to have to punch through a cobblestone, aren't I, to collect my goodies. There's a goodie in there that I don't recognize. And I'm not sure if it's the Faithful Texture Pack or if it's from a mod that I just haven't seen before. So I'm excited to see what that is. Zombie Vita from Yigamel Châtel. I'll have to look that mod up, as that is not one that I expected. It's great that this is kind of my mod pack, but really I'm just the mascot here. Saffron put this together, did a fantastic job getting this ready for us. And, ooh, I got some redstone. Nice. Thank you, witches, for allowing another sequence break. We'll make use of that very soon. Now that we have all of the petals that we need, we can toss in one of each of the red and brown mystical and mana petals, a mystical light gray petal, and a seed. Poof. Endo Flame. And then we're going to scoop up a bowl of water, right-click it in here, and we could go through and toss them all in the same way again, or you can use an open hand and right-click on the filled petal apothecary to put the same set of flowers back in. Then all you need to do is apply the seed and get your second Endo Flame. That's going to be... squirting lag. That is going to be far more efficient in terms of the amount of time it's going to use than any other option available to you. Now, the Endo Flames, if you grab your Lexica and take a look at them, they make use of combustible items or blocks in the near vicinity and burn them to passively generate mana while the fuel lasts. So, the small caveat being the Endo Flame will not burn anything that returns a byproduct. So, lava buckets are right out. Open crates are going to be great to help set up a self-sustaining system for them. And the other thing about Endo Flames that you need to know is they have a cap. You will not be able to use modded fuels that are any better than a block of coal. So you're going to want to make sure that you keep your expectation, like stick to things that are not inherently ridiculously OP. Cough, cough, other fuel, cough. So what we're going to do, we're going to grab a bit of charcoal, we're going to make sure that our endoflame is connected to our mana spreader, which it is. And we're going to get the other endoflame down, which is also connected. Fantastic. And if I toss a charcoal into the world, you will hear and see the endoflame. Right. They don't immediately grab. They wait a second. Go into effect. There we go. Boom. Oh, and there's our nightshades finally decaying. Goodbye. And you can see there's a little bit of a particle effect over that one. It is currently working. They will burn through charcoal pretty quickly, but they will produce a lot more power than we otherwise have access to. There we go. Now they're both active. Now, it will take them less time to burn through one charcoal than it takes one charcoal to decay in the world. So you can leave a couple of charcoal out there and let them grab them up, and they will slowly use up the pile that's there. As you can see, our mana pool is filling up. Thank you, Endoflames, for doing your thing. That's going to be about all the time that we have for today. Thank you very much for joining me. Hope you have enjoyed this episode. If so, leave me a thumbs up and tell me what you liked about it. If not, leave me a thumbs down and tell me what I can do better. Next time, we're going to be working on... Well, I'm not 100% certain. We're going to continue progressing. We've got some endoflames now, so that's great. I think the next thing to do is to secure a reliable source of more advanced materials, meaning metals, coal, and redstone. We'll put that into effect next time. So, if you would like to see more videos, please click subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.